Hello guys, and welcome back to Cinema Movie Recaps. Today, we're looking at a science fiction, horror movie called The Thing. Spoilers alert, grab your popcorn and enjoy. A Norwegian helicopter is trying to hunt down a sled dog who manages to dodge all the bullets and reach the American research station in Antarctica. The Norwegian passenger accidentally blows himself and the helicopter up, and the pilot runs away and starts yelling at the Americans. He aims for the dog but accidentally shoots one of the crew members. The dog runs away and the pilot follows him, but gets shot in the head by the station commander, Gary. The crew then puts off the fire started after the explosion and discuss about what happened. MacReady, the American pilot, and Dr. Copper take the helicopter and fly to the Norwegian base to investigate what happened there, while the others go on with their activities. MacReady and Dr. Copper arrive at the station and notice the immense disaster and ruins there. They find a mutilated, frozen corpse, some documents which are taken by the doctor, and a very strange ice cube melted in the middle. Right before they leave, MacReady notices a burnt human-like creature which they take back to the American station for further investigations. The crew gathers around the strange creature and Gary orders Blair, their biologist, to start an autopsy to determine what that creature is. Blair finds normal human organs, which is extremely odd for everyone, while everyone else is playing different games to help pass the time. Clark takes the sled dog, which was eventually adopted by the crew, and puts it in the cage with the other sled dogs. Clark leaves and all other dogs start barking at their new friend, while it metamorphoses into a strange creature and tries to absorb the others. The barking dogs attract Clark's attention and he comes back. Instead of turning the lights on to see better in the cage, he decides to open its door, which leads to two dogs escaping. He then sees the tentacles of the creature and closes the door. The other crew members go at the cage as well, just to see an alive pile of dog meat. MacReady starts shooting at the meatball and at the other infected dogs. Childs, or how we like to call him, Hans, brings the flamethrower and burns the meatball creature. Blair performs an autopsy on the giant dog salad and discovers it is an organism which can imitate other living organisms. The team then proceeds to analyze the documents and videos brought back by MacReady at Dr. Copper from the Norwegian base. They see the Norwegian team blowing up a large excavation site and MacReady gets ready, "See what I did here?" to fly his helicopter there. The three of them get to the site and find a partially buried alien spacecraft. Norris estimates it's over 100,000 years old. They also find a smaller, human-sized dig site. They get back to the station and discuss the findings. Blair investigates further and runs some theories on the computer, which leads him into thinking that there is a 75% chance of the organism assimilating the crew members and that the entire world population can be infected in the matter of years if contact is made. Windows and Bennings move all the infected things and the creature in the storage space while Fuchs takes MacReady outside to tell him Blair locked himself in the room and doesn't want to come out. He also reads Blair's thoughts from his journal and tells MacReady that the organism must be alone with another form of life in order to assimilate it, and that there's molecular activity in the burnt remains, which means the alien organism is not dead. Windows comes back to check on Bennings and sees the creature trying to assimilate him. Windows runs to tell the others and MacReady burns the Benning creature. They all take the other creature outside to burn them all with the flamethrower. MacReady catches Blair breaking the control panel of the helicopter and then hears gunshots from the station. He runs there just to see a panicked Blair shooting at the crew members who try to stop him from breaking the communication system with the outside world. They also find out he killed the other sled dogs. They manage to fight Blair after he ran out of bullets. The team takes him and imprison him in the shed. MacReady chats a bit with Blair, who tells him to watch Clark closely. The remaining crew members then decide to take some blood tests to determine who is infected or not, but they find out the blood samples they have are all compromised. Gary and Dr. Copper are the only ones who have access to the key that can unlock the blood fridge, so they get into a fight about that. While they were fighting, Windows ran to take a gun because he panicked. The members lose their faith in Gary, so they decide MacReady should take command. While they burn the remains of the blood samples outside, MacReady decides to isolate Dr. Copper, Gary and Clark from the rest and orders Norris and Childs to shoot them up with morphine and tie them up in a room. While the team executes the orders, MacReady records a tape in case they all die. Meanwhile, Fuchs experiences an electricity loss in the lab he was working to develop another test and sees a strange figure, which leads him outside, where he finds a MacReady shredded jacket. MacReady, Windows, and Knowles go to search for Fuchs. They first stop to ask Blair if he saw Fuchs, but to no avail. They find his burnt remains in the end and they figure he burned himself, so he avoids the assimilation. Windows goes back inside to tell the others while Knowles and McCready go to McCready's shack to inspect it because they saw the lights on. Because McCready and Knowles didn't return in 45 minutes, the crew blocks all the entries in the station, but Knowles comes back eventually and shows everybody McCready's shattered jacket, telling them he cut loose McCready because he was an imitation. Suddenly the door handle starts moving and then the window from the storage room breaks. The room is locked, so Childs tried to break it down with an axe to reach McCready, who threatens to blows up the entire camp. Norris and Knowles try to stop McCready, but he throws them away and Norris dies. They bring Norris to the doctor, and while he defibrillates Norris, his abdomen transforms into a huge mouth and bites off Dr. Copper's hands, killing him. This thing that strongly resembles a much more beautiful Donald Trump gets burnt by McCready, who is also holding dynamite dangerously close to the flamethrower, smart move, and detaches its head. The Donald Trump-like creature tries to hold on its life like Donald Trump on his presidency, but gets burnt again. McCready comes up with a plan to tie everyone up, but Childs doesn't want to comply. While McCready was focused to convince Childs, Clark tries to stab him, but he fails and gets shot in the head. Eventually they all tie themselves up and Windows takes a blood sample from each crew member. McCready then tests their blood by inserting a heated piece of wire inside the sample to see which one will react. He firstly determines Windows, him and Clark are human, and then he tests Palmer's blood, which reacts rapidly. Palmer then transforms into a bloody scream face creature, escapes from its bonds and infects Windows. McCready finally figured out how to use the flamethrower, which suddenly didn't want to work, and incinerates Palmer, who runs outside. To finish the job, McCready throws a grenade which blows up Palmer. He then comes back and burns Windows before he turns. McCready starts testing the blood samples again and determines Knowles is human. He then tests Child's blood, which reveals he is also human. The last one to be tested is Gary, who comes clean as well. All of them, except Childs, go to Blair's place to test him, but when the team gets there, they see the door open and no sign of Blair. They inspect the shelter and notice Blair escaped through a tunnel under it. Gary goes down first and the other follow him. The three of them discover an underground cave with a small flying saucer inside made out of car and helicopter components. Suddenly, Knowles spots Childs running away outside the main entrance and the power goes off. McCready, Knowles and Gary determine that Blair must have gotten inside and destroyed the generator because the creature wants to freeze and hibernate until the rescue team comes and finds it again. The three of them decide to stop the creature and detonate the entire base. They start with the cave built by Blair and then go to the main station. A bit of a strange decision since all they are burning is their shelter because the Blair creature is nowhere to be seen at this moment. Back to the story now. Finally, they go into the generator room to see if they can restore the generator, but without any luck. While the team sets explosives everywhere, Blair decides Gary's face would make an incredible glove for this winter, and kills him. Knowles gets suspicious and, instead of telling McCready, he goes to investigate. McCready starts searching for his teammates, but they don't respond. Suddenly, something breaks the floor and McCready launches himself like a big bag of potatoes on some barrels. That thing just trolled him, because it stopped in time. The Blair thing rises from the floor and destroys the detonator and shows McCready a full frontal birth of its baby dog. McCready takes the dynamite and parkours himself away from the creature before throwing it into its mouth. The entire base blows out, killing that thing and its newborn baby dog. Tired of everything and without any shelter left, McCready grabs a drink and sits by the fire. Childs returns and McCready is suspicious of his disappearance. Childs confesses he thought he saw Blair and ran after him, but he got lost in the storm. They acknowledge they don't have much time and that they do not trust each other, so McCready and Childs share a bottle of scotch, awaiting their death. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Take care.